It's really easy to get stuck when you're writing a story and you don't know what the new character should be like. A lot of times we have similar archetypes that we're writing that are either similar to ourselves, similar to who we want to be, or similar to cliches we see a lot. And it's really easy to get stuck for types of characters. So just some suggestions for how to write characters in interesting ways. First is to read up on the 7 sins and to make a character whose personality is a very similar to that sin. So if someone's sin is sloth, make it someone who just lays around all the time, doesn't do anything, very stereotypically lazy. Or let's say someone's is pride, you can picture them right now, very prideful, very arrogant, thinks they're better than people. Really easy to base a personality off of that. Let's say it's lust, someone who is just looking for lust ever. You can also teach a lesson through the character, through their arc in the story, let's say, and perhaps show something interesting about that sin, and maybe even tell people not to do it or to think about it differently or to show more compassion for people who have that issue. Like, that's just an example. And you can also do this with other types of things. So if you read up on the zodiac, it's super interesting to see the different types of signs. You could potentially write a character who's a typical Taurus, a typical Aries, a typical Leo, and you can really have some fun with that. And another thing I really like to do is to write a character that's the complete opposite of yourself. It's kind of fun because you have to put yourself in a place that you high school, so I would write about popular girls a lot because it would interest me, but I definitely put too much of myself in them and they didn't come off as a typical popular girl. So really try hard to keep the opposite, and it's kind of interesting because you can learn a lot through them and you can start thinking how they think, and you can make new connections that, oh, that's actually really interesting and really smart. And another really cool thing you can do when it comes to characters is think about a setting and write about a character who might live there or be there or love it there. So let's think about, everyone likes to talk about on TikTok, cottagecore. Think about characters who would want to live in a little cottage in the woods, or maybe be a shepherd in the middle of a farm in the middle of nowhere. Why not? And think about the type of person who would be at peace with that and love that. And it's a really unique way to find new character types because there are unlimited settings. Really interesting idea is to do mythological characters, ancient characters from history. You can read about famous characters and weird things they did and get some ideas there. You can also use ghosts or spirits, or you've heard of any stories in the past. Really useful, and it makes things a lot more interesting.